didn't really change too much of nothing because I was doing what I truly loved doing. So if I went back and changed it, then I wouldn't really enjoy myself as much.
In 1992, Ronnie Coleman entered Mr. Olympia for the first time, but didn't crack the top 15. 6 years later, at Madison Square Garden, he returned and shocked the world by winning.
Go! Go, baby! Go! Go!
A burning desire to be successful in life. I've always had it. I was pretty much born with it, and I wake up every morning with it.
Moments after, he collapsed backstage from sheer exhaustion. Flex Wheeler was the favorite, but Ronnie beat them all. It marked the start of an unmatched reign. 8 straight Mr. Olympia titles from 1998 to 2005. Today, after 10 surgeries, he walks with crutches, but says he has no regrets. Why would he say that? To understand, we need to start at the beginning. Beginning of the King. Ronald Dean Coleman, a boy born on May 13, 1964, in the quiet town of Monroe, Louisiana, to Ed and Jessie Benton Coleman, Ronnie grew up in a home that didn't have much, but it had something far more valuable: discipline, faith, and an unshakable belief in hard work. He began weightlifting at age 13 while continuing in high school, and at age 16, his incredible genetics were already on display. And that lesson would one day define the man he became. Although his father passed away the same year he was born, the support from his mother, brother, and sister was pivotal in his general success as the Mr. Olympia. In 1989, Ronnie graduated cum laude from Grambling State University, holding a degree in accounting, a rare achievement for a young man from his background. But it wasn't just books that shaped him. He played football, and on the field, wearing the gold and black of the Grambling State Tigers, Ronnie lined up as a middle linebacker, a walk-on, under the legendary Hall of Fame coach Eddie Robinson. Those who watched him play said he wasn't the biggest or the fastest, but his drive, his refusal to quit, made him unforgettable. After graduation, life took a hard turn. The young college graduate with honors couldn't find a job in accounting. This was not uncommon for black college graduates in the late 1980s South, even those with honors degrees. The accounting firms he applied to weren't hiring, and opportunities were limited. His degree, his hard work, all seemed to lead to a dead end. So much that Ronnie had to take a job at Domino's Pizza as a delivery man. He worked long hours, earning just enough to get by, and because money was so tight, he often survived on free pizza from the job. It was a trial that pushed him into the next step of greatness. Had he given up, maybe he wouldn't get the chance to ever grace Mr. Olympia stage. Behind that delivery uniform was a man who refused to surrender to circumstance. One day, an opportunity came that would change his path forever. He was offered a position as a police officer in Arlington, Texas. The job didn't promise fame or wealth, but it gave him something priceless: stability and a gym membership. At Metroflex Gym, Ronnie would meet Brian Dobson, the amateur bodybuilder who would change his life. But that moment was still ahead. First, Ronnie had to prove himself as a police officer. From 1989 to 2000, Ronnie Coleman wore the badge with pride, protecting his community by day and spending countless nights lifting iron in a small gym. And it was there that the legend of Ronnie Coleman quietly began to rise. Now, the King's journey kickstarts, the failure before triumph. If you're still watching, don't forget to like, subscribe, and make your thoughts known in the comments section. Ronnie Coleman's journey into bodybuilding began at Metroflex Gym in Arlington, Texas. The opportunity came through a fellow police officer, Gustavo Arlotta, who introduced him to the gym's owner, Brian Dobson, an amateur bodybuilder who immediately saw Ronnie's potential. Dobson offered him a lifetime membership at the gym on one condition: that Ronnie would let him coach him for the upcoming 1990 Mr. Texas bodybuilding competition. Accepting the offer, Ronnie began training. The results came quickly. In 1990, he won the Mr. Texas title, marking the beginning of a new chapter in his life. A year later, he earned his professional status by winning the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, IFBB, World Amateur Championships. His first appearance at the Mr. Olympia in 1992 was far from glamorous. He didn't place in the top 15. At that time, Mr. Olympia was dominated by Dorian Yates, who would win 6 consecutive titles from 1992 to 1997. The competition was so fierce that even placing in the top 10 was considered a major achievement for most competitors. But rather than give up, Ronnie kept going. In 1994, he returned and placed 15th. He went home and trained so hard that the following year, he claimed his first professional victory at the Canada Pro Cup. His success continued in 1996 with another Canada Pro Cup win, and he climbed to 6th place at that year's Mr. Olympia. In 1997, after placing 3rd at the Ironman contest, Ronnie briefly considered retiring. He described it as one of the most painful moments of his career. But still, he persisted, finishing 9th at that year's Mr. Olympia. This was 1997, Dorian Yates's final victory before retiring due to a torn triceps. His retirement would leave the 1998 title wide open for the first time in years, creating an opportunity no one expected Ronnie to seize. Things changed for the better after that, as at an international tour, Ronnie defeated Kevin Levrone at the Grand Prix. Levrone was a 4-time Arnold Classic champion and had placed 2nd at Mr. Olympia multiple times. Defeating him head-to-head signaled that Ronnie was ready to compete at the highest level. That win marked the start of his rise to the top of the bodybuilding world. One of the key things that set Ronnie apart was his approach to training. He preferred using free weights over machines, believing they improved flexibility and gave him a better range of motion. His training philosophy was showcased in his videos, The Unbelievable, The Cost of Redemption, and On the Road, where he shared practical advice on form, control, and avoiding injury. The King at his peak. By 1998, Ronnie Coleman was already a familiar name among bodybuilding fans, but not yet a favorite. For most of the 1990s, he had been a solid competitor, known for his size, discipline, and work ethic, yet often overlooked in a field dominated by icons like Dorian Yates, Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, and Shawn Ray. Few believed that the quiet police officer from Arlington, Texas, would ever reach the top of the sport. That year's Mr. Olympia, held at Madison Square Garden in New York City, carried an unusual sense of uncertainty. Dorian Yates, the reigning 6-time champion, had retired due to injury, leaving the title wide open. The bodybuilding world expected the crown to pass to one of the established stars, particularly Flex Wheeler, who was considered the frontrunner because of his aesthetic physique and prior near victories. Ronnie Coleman entered the competition with little media attention. He had just started gaining momentum, following solid wins at smaller IFBB events like the 1998 Toronto Pro Invitational and the Night of Champions. Even so, few thought he could challenge the elite. In interviews, he later admitted that he didn't expect to win either. His goal was simply to improve his previous year's 9th-place finish. But the months leading up to that, Olympia marked a transformation in Coleman's career. His training intensity reached new levels. Guided by his unwavering lightweight, baby, attitude, he pushed his limits daily, often training twice a day while still working full shifts as a police officer. His focus was unmatched, and by contest time, he had built a physique that combined mass, density, and definition in a way no one had seen before. When he stepped onto the stage, the crowd was stunned. Ronnie's conditioning was razor-sharp, his muscles dense and full, his waist tight, and his energy commanding. He didn't just look strong, he looked complete. Each pose showcased years of relentless labor. The judges took notice. As the comparisons unfolded, it became clear that this was not the same man they'd seen in previous years. As the event reached its final moments, tension filled the arena. When the announcer called Ronnie Coleman's name as the 1998 Mr. Olympia champion, the audience erupted. Many were shocked. Even some competitors couldn't hide their surprise. Coleman himself stood frozen for a moment, disbelief written across his face. Then, as the reality set in, the emotion overwhelmed him. Moments after receiving the Sando Trophy, Ronnie fainted backstage. Not from showmanship, but pure exhaustion. Years of training, countless sacrifices, and sleepless nights had culminated in a victory that had pushed his body to its absolute limit. When he regained consciousness, tears streamed down his face. "I couldn't believe it," he later said. "I was just happy to be there. Winning was unreal." That night marked the beginning of a new era in bodybuilding. Ronnie Coleman had gone from an underdog to the world's best, defeating Flex Wheeler, the man everyone had expected to win, and securing the first of 8 consecutive Olympia titles. His victory symbolized more than personal success. It represented the triumph of perseverance over doubt. Even as he gained worldwide fame, Ronnie never stopped training hard. In 2000, preparing for his third Mr. Olympia, he deadlifted 755 pounds for 4 reps and an astonishing 800 pounds for 2 reps. In 2003, while training for his 6th title, he squatted 800 pounds for 2 repetitions. These lifts were featured in his workout videos and remain some of the most iconic feats in bodybuilding history. Squats were central to his training, despite being the cause of his first back injury as a teenager and a herniated disc in 1997. Even then, Ronnie continued to squat heavily throughout his career. In 2005, before winning his 8th and final Olympia title, he squatted 585 pounds for 10 deep reps, pushing himself until his nose bled. At 41, he still trained like a man half his age, doing front squats with 495 pounds for 10 reps. His dedication never faded. His diet was just as disciplined. Coleman followed a plan made up of around 20 to 25% carbohydrates, 5 to 10% fats, and 65% protein. He relied heavily on protein shakes to fuel his muscle growth, emphasizing that protein was the most important nutrient for building muscle. He also used supplements like vitamins E and C, joint capsules, chromium, multiminerals, zinc, calcium, magnesium, omega fatty acids, and echinacea to maintain his health and performance. In an interview with Joe Rogan, Ronnie shared details about his diet and training. He revealed that his goal each year was to gain 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. His daily routine included 6 meals and about 450 grams of grilled chicken with rice, demonstrating a level of discipline that few could match. The king breaks under the weight of his greatness. After retiring from competition in 2007, Ronnie Coleman faced his greatest challenge, his body. Doctors had advised surgery years earlier, but Ronnie pushed the pain aside, determined to finish his career on his own terms. When he finally underwent his first spinal surgery, it marked the beginning of a long and difficult chapter. In 2014, he had a double hip replacement. The following year, after returning from a flight abroad, His back pain intensified so much that he needed crutches to walk. Later that same year, he endured a 13-hour back surgery, one of many. Between 2015 and 2018, he underwent multiple spinal procedures, 9 on his spine alone. By the end of it, his spine was completely fused, except for one herniated disc that doctors couldn't repair. Even with these challenges, Ronnie Coleman never hid from the truth. In interviews, he spoke candidly about the pain, the risks, and the cost of the surgeries, which totaled nearly $2 million. In 2020, another double hip replacement brought his total number of surgeries to 13. His spine now carries 14 screws, 2 metal cages, and 2 long rods. Yet, despite everything, his outlook never changed. In multiple interviews, Ronnie has been asked if he regrets his choices. His answer remains consistent. He does not. In a 2018 interview, he stated, "If I had to do it all over again, I would do it all over again. I wouldn't change anything. Ronnie still trains. He still eats clean. He still lives by the same discipline that built his career." His first back injury dated back to his teenage years, during a powerlifting meet where he attempted to squat 500 pounds. He recalled a sharp crack and burning pain across his lower back. Decades later, in 1997, another squat, this time with 600 pounds, caused a severe herniation that would follow him for years. Today, Ronnie Coleman moves with the help of crutches, the result of nerve damage from his surgeries. But his spirit is as strong as ever. He owns a successful supplement company, travels, and continues to motivate people around the world. When asked why he still trains despite constant pain, his answer remains simple: "It makes me happy." Training isn't just a habit for Ronnie. It's who he is. It's the same drive that took him from a small-town police officer to an 8-time Mr. Olympia champion. He has since explored new treatments, including stem cell therapy and hyperbaric oxygen sessions, in hopes of improving his mobility. Through it all, his message remains hopeful. In his own words, "As long as I have a plan, I have a chance. As long as I'm alive, I have a chance to survive and overcome this obstacle." We've now come to the end of the legendary run of Ronald Dean Coleman. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this, and input your thoughts on this legend in the comments section.